Well, I've got this process, I've got, and it's part of the process. And it's just like, well, what is the process?
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you. It's part of, it's my brand and my brand. And it's just like, you're listening to the Angry Designer Podcast, where we help frustrated graphic designers crush all the industry BS and learn what it takes to charge what you're worth and build badass, rewarding careers.
In this episode, you're going to learn about why graphic designers are perfectly aligned to be brand strategists and why graphic designers should offer brand strategy amidst all of the amazing things we already do. I'll give you a hint. More money, more clients, and a no-bull brand strategy toolkit to help you get started. So grab yourself a drink and sit back, or keep your eyes on the road, or better yet, get to work and enjoy.
Anyway, as I was saying,
yes,
I've seen this at the LCBO so many times, but yep. I'm not rich enough apparently to buy this. So this is a treat, that's for sure.
Well, see, there you go. You overpay me, I think.
Damn it, I got to overpay myself. This is actually a pretty nice bottle, right?
This is awesome.
The Dalmore. So this is Scotch? Yes.
Yes.
Check that out. Look at that. Look at that. Like those. That's some pretty badass. Like that's some kick-ass. That's
shit.
Kick-ass, right? Yeah. That's
you want to go out and hunt that shit.
I was just gonna say it's pretty manly.
Yes.
Not that women can't appreciate it because it kind of has a blingy thing to it as well. But wow. All right, so what are you treating me to then? This is
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, this is Dalmore 12. This is really, really good.
Oh,
I hope you like it.
It's nice.
It's nice.
And that color, that's just some kick-ass color, right?
Exactly.
Cheers to you,
Salute.
sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you keep giving me your electronic equipment, so I have to repay you somehow.
Holy cow, dude, that is so
Isn't that nice?
Good.
Isn't that nice?
Whoa, this is like
it's got a nice warm wash down there.
It's okay, not smoky.
Nope.
It's smooth. Like it is so smooth. This might be the smoothest Scotch I've ever tried.
It is, and it's very whiskey-ish.
It does,
like or bourbon-y. Sorry, it's kind of sweet almost. But
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like it's definitely whiskey bourbon undertones. I get that.
The Scotch I'm used to normally is the fucking peaty stuff,
which I love, and that's
great,
what I know Scotch to be. Where this only feels like Scotch when it goes down into my belly, and it's like all burns it and gets it all,
it all on fire.
Wow! But honestly, that is a beautiful bottle. So good on them for it. So 12 years. Yeah. The Dalmore. Love it. So I'll tell you what I don't love right now.
Oh no, what?
Red Lobster's filing for bankruptcy.
When was the last time you were at Red Lobster? Do you remember?
Like 3 months ago, and it's never a great experience.
For real?
Yeah, I actually was.
Oh wow!
I do once a year. We'll go, and it's horrible seafood, right?
Yeah,
but you can get so much of it for like 5 cents. So it's like, okay, let's go for seafood. But like nothing's changed. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
because nothing has changed in that place. Like I swear, that looks like the exact same joint that I used to take girls out on dates in high school, like 1,000 years ago. Nothing has changed.
It's all the same. It's all the difference old wood.
It was newer back then. Now it just looks old. They were always, they went right from day one. They made it look old, and so it's like you didn't realize. But no, like I mean, it's kind of too bad.
Has it not come around completely like a retro kish kind of thing? Right. You know what I mean? Like
people.
Yeah, like all the millennials. Like I watched this thing on the Olive Garden, or I guess it's called Olive Garden now.
Olive, not the.
But
Olive Garden.
It's big with Gen Y.
Yeah.
For whatever
apparently
reason.
So. I haven't been to in a long time. We don't have one of those around.
No,
here,
we don't.
Unfortunately,
yes.
But I mean, they reinvented themselves. They Olive Garden looked at the market. They looked at their target. They realized where they were losing, where they needed to gain, and they pivoted. They positioned themselves. They knew who their end user was.
Yes.
Red Lobster's let's face it. Their users grew old, and now like they don't serve seafood at lunchtime anymore, and they're usually in bed by 5 o'clock. Like they never rebranded, repositioned themselves. They never updated their brands.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was something. It was a model that worked a long time ago, but I mean, not this location, not the
Yes.
locations I've seen. They've looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Toys R Us kind of fell through the same thing too,
yeah.
right? Because when Toys R Us started, right, it was just like a giant warehouse, and it was full of kids' toys, and that was enough for kids to be like, yes, let's go, right? And they had the Jeffrey, the giraffe, right? As like,
Yes.
right? They went all nuts, and then you know, like that worked for them. But then they stopped realizing, you know, what they were, and then you know, in the end, it was a warehouse for kids.
For kids,
like,
yeah.
there was nothing magical. There was nothing like their target market was kids, and they should have branded properly and built that around kids and get the experience
Yes.
to kids, because that is their market. And, you know, because kids would drive the parents to buy, right?
Yes.
Let's go to Toys R Us. Let's not just go to Walmart and in the toy department. And so, you know, in the end, it's like they forgot who their target market was. They forgot, you know, what made them different, and it wasn't a great experience. And in all fairness, there's nothing exciting about going to a toy store and just seeing, like, you know, stacks of toys so damn high you
Stuff
can't even reach
touch.
them.
Yeah, you can't touch it. It's exactly. It's was it designed more for adults?
Well,
or what was it?
No, it was designed for profit.
It was just for profit.
They probably had some sort of, you know, brand schmuck be like, okay, what we got to do is, you know, we've got to brand this to, you know, like make everybody realize that this is where you need to get a toy, and it's so warehousey. And they were probably positioning their whole target market to the parents, when really it should have been to the kid, because there was nothing magical. And when you went there, it was all kids. One parent with 3 kids. You know, sometimes kids would invite kids, but they never changed their brand. They never adjusted. They listened to the wrong advice, in my opinion.
You could throw Sears in the mix with that too, right?
Oh, that one.
That used to be the major. You know, they had a catalog coming into your home. Like, you could shop all day long. And they stopped doing that.
They did. Yeah, that was a little.
And how different would they be from Walmart today if they changed their direction,
you know,
right?
Well, exactly, right. So for them, there was a time where it was like they knew that their audience would stay at home. Sorry, not even stay at home moms. Just they knew that women back then stayed at home.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't even you know, like it.
Or even the kids. Like, I remember I used to leaf through the Sears catalog, right?
Really?
You know, for toys, and when you get older,
He went to the bra
for
section.
the bra
Don't
section.
lie. Don't lie.
I'm totally gonna cop to that, but you know what I mean. Like, you could shop anytime you wanted. It's always in the bathroom.
Right? Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's and you know, and that's basically before the internet. What the internet is now, right?
Yeah. These giant brands seem to let, you know, their brand fall wayside. They didn't kind of keep up with their brand.
Yes.
Right. And I think that was, you know, there could have been so many reasons, but it's like, you know, I think what happened is they had the wrong people in there trying to give them advice for the brands.
Right.
Right. The brand like, this is a thing I have sometimes issues with, you know, brand strategists, because they're not always, you know, they're not true to the customer. Right. They've got, like, there's a lot of bullshit that they spew out.
Yeah.
And what happens is people get this bad taste on branding, but the thing is, like, their brand is what could carry them, but it didn't.
Yes.
Right. And that's the problem, because they didn't cater to the right audience. They didn't, you know, take their brand and cater it, you know, find out what their unique, there were so many points, but they listened to these experts that are schmucks that probably just, like, fucking charge them absurd amounts of money for nothing. Like, I have issues with a lot of brand strategists. I remember when we were a young company, and you know, we had both. It was like a blessing and a curse, because this guy came in. He's like, "Whoa, you guys are so creative. I love what you got going. You know, I'm a brand strategist." And this was like 22 years ago, 23 years ago, and I was like, what is that? No, I didn't even know what that was.
Oh, really?
I didn't know. And I realized very quickly that, you know, it was bullshit artist when it came to this fucking guy, right? Because he had no fucking clue, but he could do such a great story, right?
He could talk.
He could talk the talk. He would, and some of the stuff he said made sense, but the thing is, he was a very black and white person. And I don't think brand strategists should be, right?
No.
And I think oh man, this dude. And then after him, I met like 3 more, and it was kind of like, what is wrong with these people? So
were they all the same people?
They were, I swear,
like the same kind of the way they were. Yeah,
they were exactly the same.
Yeah,
you know, they would constantly be using fucking buzzwords, right? And to try to make them sound so, you know, like, you know, make things that like concepts that are really simple. They made it sound complicated.
Yes.
Like it's like, oh, look at me, I understand. And it's just like, dude, like that doesn't mean anything. But to customers, I guess it did, because they were constantly selling that, your brand equals more profits, right?
I have one word for you.
Yeah.
Synergy. Stuff like that,
Brand
right?
synergy. Right? It's true.
Yes, exactly. But what the fuck does that mean even?
But they were really good, because what happened is they would never sell tangible results to anybody. Okay, they would never actually promise anything. Well, you got to do this. We got to find, and it's not that I disagreed with anything they were saying, but they never were able to qualify it. They qualified it in these big generic, high level
sweeping terms kind of thing.
Right,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
And it was such hogwash. It was such bull, right? Fucking promising the world for these companies and how it's going to change everything. But then they would come back to the designers and be like, okay, this is what I need. Help me out. How do we do this, right? It was like a middleman shuffle. And it drove me nuts in these cases, right? Because they would like really hype up their strategies as the fix it to the end all, right? But there was really no miracle transformation happening by them.
Nope.
It happened by us,
By the
because we
designers,
were putting it all together, right? They charged absurd amounts of money and paid us on the low.
Yeah.
Right. So they would charge for, we did a lot of package redesign for these companies. For the one client, it was great work. I loved it, because it was like really was my entrance into the package design space, and it was a paintball company.
Oh.
And back then, paintball was really cool. And it was so
awesome.
new,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we were creating these awesome, and we went about it in such a crazy way, because like when we pitched.
Yeah.
Back then we would get like these giant, large output done, and then we'd get them laminated. Then we would put them on board and cut out and make these giant, we actually physically assembled, it was great.
Yeah.
And he went in, didn't mention us, hiding us, right? And you'd pay us on the low, but I guess we were just at that point, we were just trying to build up our portfolio, right? So instead, but and the customer knew who we were,
right?
But this guy did everything possible to hide, what we were. We were like his lackeys.
You were doing all the legwork.
Yes,
and
absolutely,
you weren't even coming up with the idea. He wasn't even coming up with the ideas.
Not at all.
He's just saying, I'm responsible for all this.
Sometimes he would come up with some cool stuff about like positioning the company, right? And I did like positioning the products, right? And I mean, he was kind of, in that sense, I liked where he was going, but it was ultimately it was us doing all the work, all the creative. So he would come up with the high level theme. But he couldn't execute on fucking anything.
He couldn't do
right?
it.
Seriously. And it's just like he was completely disconnected with what was possible, right? And he could talk strategy but never execute on anything. Right? So yeah, you're right. Like you could use these giant buzzwords and just kind of oversell anything and confuse the hell out of people. But ultimately in the end, people need to see what the hell you're talking about. They need to see, see it come to life. Fuck, these guys, they couldn't do that with shit.
There's no way they're gonna do that,
dude. And the worst part about it is everything in this whole process was all smoke and mirrors. It was all secret. Well, I've got this process, I've got, and it's part of the process. And it's just like, well, what is the process?
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you. It's part of it's my brand and my brand. And it's just like, you don't have a brand. You're like a dude who we created your business card. We created your logo. Your tagline is stupid. Fuck. The more I think about it, the angrier I'm getting.
You are.
We did it all.
This is a true angry designer podcast.
But it's true. It's like everything he did was always in secrecy. So it's I don't even know if maybe he was getting shit fed from somebody else and was telling us. But it was just, and that wasn't the only brand strategist experience. I there was several.
There was a bunch.
So and granted it was early days, but it really kind of built up to that whole those who couldn't make it became brand strategists.
Right.
I don't think anybody knew what the hell they did, but brand is so fucking important.
Right.
It is so important.
Huge.
I firmly 100% believe that you can't be a legitimate brand strategist, specialist, or you can't know brand, okay, unless you've got a design background.
You've actually done what you're proponent. You're proposing that you should do.
Seriously,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
think I don't think you can call yourself a brand strategist. I don't think you can, affect. I've seen some people. Okay, so Christo's brilliant. I love Christo, and I love his whole, how he helped Melinda, go from a graphic designer to a brand strategist, and he taught, and he speaks very highly about this. Right? He came from a design background.
Yes.
She came from a design background.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brand strategy is so much more than these high level bullshit thoughts. Like, you need to be a designer in order to be an effective brand strategist.
Yes.
Because again, there's so much more that we offer than just somebody off the street. Because again, these people are trying to sell like strategy, have no fucking idea about execution. They're trying to sell these ideas that just are next to impossible to do. And in order to do them, these fees are ridiculous to get them done. Like, it's like, dudes, come back to fucking earth a little bit.
It's like,
me off,
who
dude.
becomes an expert right out of school or whatever and gets into a brand strategy?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
right? Because it's not like they teach that in school.
No.
Strategy 101.
That was part of design, like what we learned as designers.
Well, and again, the confusing part is people often think that, branding is a logo, but that's not it.
No.
There's so much more to a brand.
Yes.
Right? And there's so much more to being a brand strategist than just being a graphic designer. But I do think that in order to be an effective brand strategist, you have to be a graphic designer first. Graphic designers are perfectly set up to be brand strategists, right?
Absolutely.
Actually, not even just they're perfect for brand strategy, period. Okay, I wrote down some stuff here because, this is what we do on a daily basis, and we have, or you guys have, every single thing that a brand strategist needs, and 10 times more, because we actually do the shit.
Yeah.
Okay, like, number one, right? We can actually identify the USP for a customer. Yes. Because we do it all the time. Okay? Like, we've got the skills, the research skills, right? We've got the design chops, right? And by design, I don't mean like making things look pretty, but like trying to solve problems for the end user, right?
Yep.
We are uniquely equipped to identify and market what makes a company unique, what makes a brand unique.
Yep.
Okay? Because we do this all the time.
All the time.
In order to build a logo, in order to, build a brochure, create a website, like come up with the brochure or the billboard, blah, blah. We're already doing this on a daily basis.
Yep.
So where are brand strategists getting this from? They're asking questions, but they're not asking the right questions.
That's right.
We are set up to do, all right? We are client-focused problem solvers, okay? Design is 100% based on what? It's solving the end user's fucking problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we're born and bred to, right? We know how to listen to customers. We know how to actually ask questions, find out what they really need, solve their problems, right? And we solve them with creative solutions, right? So again, how does a brand strategist do this? Okay, without a design background, where are they getting this from? It's all textbook.
Textbook, yes, exactly.
Oh, dude.
Or some friggin' crash course online where you Coursera or something like that.
Right?
I could be a brand strategist in 12 hours.
12 hours over the weekend. That'll be cool.
Over the weekend.
Especially with their background, right?
Yeah.
This guy was cold as ice. Okay, he was cold as ice, and he used to always say it's because he had a military background. Oh, no, he didn't have a fucking military background. His military background was cadets, but he kept saying that was his military background. So it's like when he'd go on the weekends and train a little bit, that's a military background. There's a lot of service people out there that would probably punch someone in the head to try to actually, simplify that.
Cadets.
But I mean, the guy was.
I'm sorry. That is friggin' hilarious.
He served in the infantry of Oakville, Ontario,
in a park, marching with a wooden stick.
Right.
Thank you for your service, sir.
But the thing is, he was so regimented, right? And I think it actually ended up being more of a personality fuck up, or I think maybe he actually was on the spectrum somewhere, to be honest, because he was so emotionally disconnected. Okay. And the thing is, in order to deal with customers and to deal with brand, you need to be emotionally connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Graphic designers have a deep understanding of, emotions. We're like
Empaths,
right?
exactly,
We
yeah.
completely, understand what moves people, what drives people, right? And so we can create the right kind of visuals. We know the right kind of words, actions to connect with somebody on a completely different level, right? Where a lot of these guys, again, where are they finding this from? Questionnaires, focus groups.
Yeah.
Like it's very flat, where a lot of times we just know.
Yes.
Because it's who we are.
Yes.
It's what we've been born and raised to do.
Yes, exactly. And somebody like that is like hardwired for, being just a very regimented and not being able to take cues or something like that from people. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's fucked up. That is against what we
do and what we are. And that's why I'm saying you need to do this in order to be an effective brand strategist, right? We obviously have practical brand knowledge because we're working and building brands all the fucking time, right? We know about creating the right kind of elements for brands, right? We understand, what it takes, all the different parts in order to have people recall a brand, right? Because that's what we do. So we've got a practical branding knowledge, where a lot of these guys, their branding knowledge isn't practical at all. It's at this other level. It's very, what's the word? Theoretical.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Where it's like, we put the shit in practice. It's like, no, like a logo needs to be in more than one place. And the brand strategists are the ones who's like, no, you can't change a logo. It has to be the way it is. Just like, well, what if you put it on, a completely different format? What about when you shrink it to, 20 pixels by 20? Nope. Then you're not serving the brand properly by changing it. It has to be the brand. It's like, that's not practical.
No,
right?
No.
We know what's practical. We know that can harm the brand. That's why now it's responsive logos, right? This is a fucking thing.
That's right. That was a problem that wasn't a brand strategist to solve that.
No, exactly.
It was a designer.
The brand strategists were the sticklers who were like,
no, we can't do that.
I remember how many times I'd fight with this guy, and it's just like, but it looks like ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not meant for this form. Well, you can't have a second logo, but it's not a second fucking logo.
Yes.
It's the same logo, but set up differently, so it can look better when people read it. Like, it's helping the brand, not hurting it. No, it's not in the vertical format that everybody's.
This is the logo. That's all there is to it.
Oh, dude, it's horrible. It's horrible, right? We are visual communication pros.
Yeah.
Okay, we get, visual cues. We understand how to tell messages, color schemes, how it works on digital, how it works, on print. We get that. Yep. We totally understand, consistency is king, right? And so if you're creating something, it has to be consistent. The colors have to be consistent, whether it's on a shirt, whether it's, on a car, whether it's online, it has to be consistent across all. We know that.
Yes.
Okay. And again, it's just inbred this is part of what we do.
Yes.
Right. And ultimately, we are experts at executing this shit, not these fucking strategists.
Yes, there's the key, right? Yes.
This was the problem. He would come to us for every problem, and we would solve them because we knew. And we'd fight and kick and scream, but in the end, the customer loved it because they were like, "That's real. That's." Of course, he fucking always took the credit. So this often happens with young designers, and we just get rolled over with this kind of stuff.
You think that's the way the world is, and he's got an important title. He's a brand strategist. Sounds pretty. It sounds pretty legit, though. No,
dude. Yeah. Well, again, he made it sound legit. That's for sure, right? And he sure as hell sold himself as that way.
Yes.
But man, and again, and it's more times than so. It's not that I think all brand strategists are a bunch of morons, but I do feel that graphic designers are better positioned to offer brand services, to offer brand strategy, to help companies execute on their branding, because we offer all the skills, needed from, beginning to end, from ideation to finding out what their problem is, all the way to executing on the final design.
Yes.
And we can deliver that for a customer, at a better cost because they're only using one of us. They're using us. They're not using,
a brand strategist.
2 or 3, a brand strategist to make up all this fake shit, only to have us have to fix all their shit and then implement it for the customer. It's true.
And have to pay them too, right?
Yeah, right. But often it seems like graphic designers don't. And that's the weird thing, right?
Really? People aren't taking advantage of this kind of stuff.
Well, I don't think so. Because again, like Chris Stowe ran that whole episode about transforming somebody from, a designer to a strategist. So there's so many reasons why, but a lot of times that I don't know if they're just apprehensive or if it's just, they don't want to go down that road. I don't know. But I mean, again, it's crazy because there's so many reasons why they should.
Tell me about it. Like I always think of guys like James Bernard and all that stuff. And it's really cool that they do logos, right? Like that. I love that. I think that's awesome. God bless. But there's such an untapped well there that,
right?
Like there's a lot of good stuff all hiding in the mix.
Well,
in there,
again, let's keep in mind when you hear these stories of like $1 million logos and rollouts and BBC spending 200 million pounds, right?
Yep.
Let's face it, it's not just a logo that they're buying.
No.
They're buying a whole process. And chances are, even when you hear, how Martha Stewart, like charged $1 million for a logo, well, it wasn't just like boom, there it was done, even though the story does sound like that, right?
Yep.
But there was strategy. There was no doubt they revisited the brand, the two companies coming together. Like there was so much more to that process that it's just like, it's so powerful. It's such a powerful role to be in. And graphic designers are perfect for this fucking role, right? So reasons why graphic designers should embrace branding and offering, as one of their services. Okay. Number one, expands your skill set. Okay. Just right off the bat, when we talk about looking like an expert, right? Well, all of a sudden when you have an expanded skill set, right, you're now someone of more value because you're able, you can now take this holistic approach to a customer's brand. You can see the bigger picture, not just focus on the brand identity. Okay, you can actually help them from beginning to end on this, right? Because now you have the skill set, right, to do all this. So you can offer a lot more than just the visual elements, right? For whatever reason, there's a higher perceived value with companies, okay, when it comes to brand strategists. And I don't understand 100%, right? But clients do recognize the value of a brand, right? Absolutely they do. They understand the value of a good brand. They understand the value of a bad brand, okay? And they're willing to invest more on the branding side of this than they are necessarily on just the visual implementation of it. And that's the sad part, right? So we get into early enough at the ground floor, we're gold.
Yes.
Okay, in that. We can now add strategic value to the company, which that fucking excites me.
That's really cool because then you're almost like a partnership kind of thing, right?
Exactly, dude.
Yes,
you can start this now gets designers at the table, the decision table, right?
Yes.
And you're brought up. You're now with the C-suite. You're now meeting owners, or the president, the vice president, people like real people who are in charge of decisions. If you can get to that level, you are at that level, okay? And it's huge because now you have this ability to help strategize the direction of a business, right? You can, enhance your role and then your value within that company, which is fucking incredible.
Yes.
And what that leads to, okay, is long-term engagements, right? Because now, okay, you've just helped this company identify all these problems, or not even all these problems, but you help them identify, their true brand's value, right? How to talk about the brand, how that they, the angles that they have, their unique USP, right?
Approach,
so now it's like, exactly. And now you're not just doing a logo, okay, that somebody came to you on and said, I need, okay, you're calling the shots from beginning to end. So you're helping with the voice, you're helping with the messaging, you're creating the logo, you're creating the identity, right? This is an ongoing partnership that you now have with this company, right? And that's why I love that. I mean, our land and expand always ends at brand. Always.
Totally.
Right? And I love that. I love when we're meeting and engaged with the right people to influence a company's future, their direction. That's key. That's gold.
Big time. That's awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And 9 times out of 10, I don't know, maybe these companies aren't really thinking that far ahead, right? Whereas you're putting that idea in their head. And it's just kind of like, by the way, we also do X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Like,
well, let's face it. Oftentimes, running a business, and a lot of people here, have got experience running their own businesses. Oftentimes you're too busy working day to day that you can't see the future very clearly.
Right.
Okay. So when a strategist or a designer comes in as a brand strategist, we can help customers see the bigger picture.
Right.
What they should be focusing on.
Yes.
We do that time and time again.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not that they're bad companies before we have them.
No. They've got other things to think about.
They got other things to think. They're building their
tons of
software.
shit, yes.
They're building
Exactly.
2-3 platforms. They're
Exactly.
doing meetings, holding these groups. You know, they're also online. They're doing everything that's textbooks that you're supposed to.
Yes.
They don't have somebody that can come in and give that higher vision and be like, dudes, you know, this is your real value. I appreciate that you're doing this. I appreciate you're doing that. I appreciate all this.
Yeah.
But you need to focus here.
Yes.
And this is why these are the people. And 80% of your business comes from this one group of people. So why are you fucking around with all these 90 all these other groups and just running yourself silly?
Yes.
Focus on these ones.
Yes.
Dude, the time and time again, the companies that we've helped transform just by helping them realize what real value they bring, what makes them different, and then who to focus their business on.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
That's massive.
And we can see that from the outside looking in. Again, because as designers, you know, we're perfectly positioned to do this.
Exactly.
Okay? But I think the biggest reason why designers should embrace, you know, branding, or at least a brand strategy approach, or offer this in our toolkit, okay, is it is fucking future proof. Okay? Think about this, okay?
Wait, AI is not coming for brand?
Right? And it's funny, right? Okay, I mean, we joke about AI, and I get it. Right now, it's a great tool, and that's all it is, right? However, AI has the potential to devalue what we do as designers in a customer's mind, okay? Because there's going to come a point, like it or not, that, you know, we've seen some of this shit out there, okay? And customers are always, we're seeing shit now all the time from customers, and they're like, here, this is what we were thinking about. It's shit. But now they did it themselves, and they're thinking that they're fucking designers. Okay, so it's like, you know, so what AI is doing in that sense, it's slowly devaluing what we do, and we have to find other ways to add value.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is, AI struggles with the nuances. Okay, it struggles with digging deep and finding the real problems within a company. Right, you need someone like us. You need the designers who can listen, who can hear the problems, right? You know, kind of figure out what it is that they're trying to tell us, and make those connections. Because AI still is nowhere near it doesn't understand those kind of nuances. Right?
No.
It's a great tool, okay, but you know, it can't do what this is. So offering brand strategy in our toolkit, you know, number one, keeps us in the whole design game.
Yep.
Okay, because now we're helping them find their brand, we're helping them identify their brand, helping them with their tone, their voice. So sure, I guess, you know, after you give them that information, they could go to chat and be like, well, what's our mission statement? Or what's it? Fucking bullshit, by the way, mission statement. That's a whole other thing. Don't even get me talking about vision and mission. But I mean, they could go on AI and help solve that shit once you've given them that, right?
Yes.
But you have to help get them to that spot.
Yes.
And at that point, they've already got enough trust in you. They're like, yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, you
do it all.
Yeah, I like what you're doing.
Yes.
Let's just keep going with this.
So that's why I think brand strategy, or offering brand strategy supports or services, you know, on top of or adding it into a graphic designer's toolkit, just future proofs our operation 100%.
Yes, it's the Swiss Army knife, right? This is just another tool that you have.
Right? But it's even better than that. Okay, it's not another tool. It is the tool, and that's where I'm getting with this. Okay, brand strategy is the fucking Swiss Army knife. Okay, everything else is
comes out of
graphic design, copywriting, all this shit,
dude.
And that's why you want to be the Swiss Army knife, right? Get that? See, that's even deeper, right?
Yeah. It's not in your pocket. It's you.
It is. It's true. And so, are you gonna pay $1 for this feature, $1 for that, or do you know what? I'll give you $10 for the whole damn night.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Hopefully, you're charging more than $10, but otherwise, this is a whole other topic of this. So, I'd be an idiot to say Christo's, a farce, of course, because he's not, right? The guy knows what he's talking about, but someone like him, deals with giant fucking companies, right? He has got the confidence, the experience, the background, in order to make a change like this in a multi-million-dollar company. Okay.
Yeah.
he's not chasing the small to medium-sized businesses.
No.
But it doesn't mean that the small to medium-sized businesses don't need brand strategy.
Yes.
Okay. And again, it puts you at the ground floor. Okay. And then it just allows you to kind of just lay out the roadmap for everything else that you need to offer to these companies. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking a lot of the brand strategy stuff that's out there, it's too much for most of the companies out there, but it doesn't mean that it's not important to most of the companies out there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I think graphic designers have got so much opportunity here. So much fucking opportunity.
Big time. Yeah, absolutely.
Sean, this Delmer's really good.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
Oh, I got him hooked. Although it is a bit of a price point, but still, it's worth it every once in a while. Treat yourself.
Dude. Yeah, absolutely. Good on this one.
So you don't like brand strategists at all? You never met one that you liked?
Oh, I'm sure I've met
a capable one.
Oh, you know what's funny? No, honestly,
Wow.
I have not met one.
What about that young lady
that I liked
at Creative South?
Again,
worked with Jade.
She's different, right? She directly worked with. She's like a celebrity to me. She is an online expert.
Yeah,
she's somebody online. So the fact that I met her personally, fine, okay, fine. That's somebody that I'm pretty sure she knows what she's doing. Okay?
Well, yes.
But I mean, her experience, the brand strategists, I've seen them online. Okay, again, Chris Do, I do think that he knows his shit.
Yep.
Right, and he taught Melinda to do this, and that's who I met.
Melinda,
she's amazing.
She's great.
So damn cool, and I do believe that. I mean, it's transformed her business.
Yes.
Okay, so do I think that she's legit? 100%.
Yeah.
They're designers.
She's a designer. Yeah.
They both came from design backgrounds, and now they both offer brand strategy, and I think that's what makes sense. All the brand strategists I've met in my life
have just
here in town, in our networking circles, at our networking events. I swear every single one have been bullshit artists.
Yes.
So no, I absolutely despised them, to be honest.
Right.
And I call them out on their bullshit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Anybody who uses buzzwords, just stay the fuck away. Okay.
Yeah. Get clear of these people. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So these guys are just kind of posers, essentially.
Well,
not
I
real
have
designers.
met.
Yeah, not designers, but yes, but
I mean, again, I've got books. I've read people. I have read up and have read books from, brand strategists that obviously are really good at what they do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, they're not entertaining themselves with the small to mid-sized companies.
Right. They're going for the
90% of the graphic designers that I know and that we listen to, work with.
Yeah.
Okay, such a small percentage of designers had that kind of influence on multi-million-dollar companies, like crazy. Because again, those companies generally have brand strategists baked within.
Like literally a team.
Their CMO understands brand strategy.
Right.
He probably is legit, and again, he's gone through it. So they're not always hiring the brand strategists, right?
True.
So that's why I think graphic designers should offer a no bullshit brand toolkit. Okay, and that's what surprise. Check this out. No, and again, it's just like, well, I don't know what's involved in this. So, okay, I broke this down. Okay, I broke this down into 8 super simple things to offer.
Yeah.
Okay, 8 steps. Okay, this is easy, and you can apply this to small companies, and you could perform all of this within like 20, 30 hours. Okay, you could do it to larger companies, and probably still only take you 20, 30 hours, but charge for like you did 120, 30 hours because now you're a rock star and you're worth that 3 times rate per hour. Okay, but reality is, I put this together because I want people to understand, the process here. And you realize that you can actually do this and be able to own that whole experience, right? So like, the first step, very, very, very first step. Okay. And again, this is the no bullshit version. So don't be expecting create a brand vision, create a brand mission.
Yeah, your first word here is create a mission statement. Is that
like again, because I can't stand this is the bullshit that I feel hurts the industry. Okay.
Big time.
And
big time.
maybe at a crazy high level public company, maybe there might be minor benefits to having something like that. Problem is that companies don't take that shit serious.
No.
Okay. They do take something else serious, which I'm going to mention here,
Yes.
or they should, but for our conversation here, okay, I've got an 8-step toolkit for graphic designers to follow. Nice. Okay. And this is no bullshit toolkit, right?
No bullshit.
Very first thing you do. Okay. And you can all do this. Ready? Yeah. Very first thing, you do a brand audit checklist. Plain and simple, right? You know, you take a look at, you do a current state analysis, right?
Okay.
A quick rundown of what the brand is, what's working, what's not, where the gaps are, right? This is the shit that we do anyway.
Yes.
Okay. We review the competition. We analyze the competition, right? See where you stand in comparison to your competition, right? And then maybe see if there's any opportunities or differentiators between you and the competition.
Yes.
Okay. So we can do this.
Yeah.
This takes a couple hours to do.
Yes.
Really, it does take a couple hours to do.
Is this in person or is this just reconnaissance, doing stuff on your own?
You can do a little bit of both, right?
Okay.
Again, you know, customers want the Q. They want the question answers. It shows that you're engaged.
That you're right in
questions. But a lot of the research you don't need to know, right? You don't need to have that conversation, right?
Fair.
So number one, brand audit checklist.
Nice.
Okay. Number two, okay, and the big goal here is to identify the USP.
What's the USP?
Okay. Unique selling proposition, unique selling point, whatever you want to get. It's basically the part that makes you different from everybody else. Okay. So you want to find out what the core differentiators are from your customer to everybody else and what makes their business different. Okay. What they do that customers don't. And again, I used to challenge companies all the time because I'd be like, well, what makes you different? They're like, customer service. I know everybody says customer, but we really take customer service. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I said, if you actually do, let's create a customer service department. Yeah. And that's all they do. And we'll call it customer care, not customer support.
Yes.
Right? And we're going to have them answer the phone. They're going to deal with customers anytime there's any sort of problem, and they're going to do what it takes to make it better. And then we're going to brand that campaign, and we're going to put that on your homepage that you have something different. They're like, oh, well, we don't take it that serious.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't take it that serious.
So it's not your unique selling proposition. Zappos, it was theirs. Zappos, the online shoe company, right?
Yep.
It was their unique and they fucking whatever it took.
They'd like drive shit to
4
your house.
hours. The owner, if I'm not mistaken, God rest his soul, the poor guy, he picked up because they promised a delivery. He grabbed in his car. Rumor has it, this could be just a legend, it could be a myth.
It's great either way. It's great
gets
marketing.
in there and drove it to the person and hand delivered it because they did what it took.
Was that and exactly that's what they said.
So it's not impossible.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
very
true.
possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, for them, that was their whole shtick. And I mean, again, they were acquired for over $1 billion. So good on them.
Yeah.
But the reality is you do need to find out what makes them different. Okay.
Yes.
And again, if there isn't anything different, you have to find something different to market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that is your job, right?
Yeah.
So, and then with that whole process, you need to understand their customers. You need to do the research. Okay. You need to find out what the customers want, what their preferences are, what hurts them, what their pain points are, right? And you have to basically compare that to this USP to see if there is a connection. Okay. Yeah. But almost every business, if it's going to make it, has got something unique and why people buy from them versus the competition. So you got to figure that out. So that's number 2. Okay. Identify the USP. Okay. Number 3. Okay. And this is my favorite part. I don't believe in brand mission statements. I don't believe in brand vision statements. I think they're, again, just full of a lot of crap. But I do believe in a brand promise. Okay. Because it almost wraps up everything in one promise.
Right.
You know, BMW promises to be the ultimate driving machine. Okay, at all costs. Everything. If you develop the right customer promise for that end user, it's the easiest way to guide a company's direction because everything could point to that one promise. Is that it?
Yeah.
You know, wait, giving customers big, bubbly, soft, luxurious tires is not delivering the ultimate performance machine? Guess what? It's not.
No, it isn't.
You need to give them something that hurts their spine every time they go around the corner and hit a bump. That's the ultimate driving experience. Leave that soft air drive for somebody else, okay? But it's true. You need to nail that brand promise, okay? And get people to commit to one thing.
Yeah.
A brand promise, that's it.
Yep.
People would get confused when you you need a mission statement, you need a vision statement. The mission statement is why you exist. The vision statement is your future. Fuck that. Promise to do something 100% for the customer, and that will guide your future.
Yeah.
Starbucks, their brand promise is to give the customer the most amazing personalized experience. They ask you how your day is.
Yep.
Okay. It's part of their whole manual,
Yep.
right? They
Your name on the
greet
cup.
you when you
Yep.
come in, even if, you're looking like a weirdo, right? And they don't want to, right? And even if you're waiting in line, they will talk to you.
Yeah.
If you're waiting like for your order to come through a drive-through, they'll sit
stand-
there.
yep.
And I get it. It's
Yep.
part of their whole thing, but
Yep.
you feel that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
'Cause
good.
It is that company's promise.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to nail that. Create a clear, no bullshit brand promise. Okay. That sets you apart from everybody else and gets every single person committed to in that company.
Yeah.
Okay. Most critical. So fuck everything else. Brand promise. Okay. This is the no bullshit version. Okay. Then you come up with the brand messaging framework. Okay, so this is number 4, brand messaging framework. So the core messages, right? This is where you actually have to start developing your key messages, your taglines, okay? This is where you start developing your voice, your tone, right? The way you speak to people, right? About this. This is where, your brand starts coming to life, okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you to now create a persona for your brand. Give yourself an avatar. Leave that to the bullshit artists, okay? I'm just saying, as a designer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We need to create that fucking voice at this point, right? People get that.
Yeah.
Because this is the way we're going to talk to people. Are we going to talk to them because we're friendly? Are we going to talk to them in the third person? Are we going to talk to them educationally? There is a voice, a tone, You need to have some taglines in place that everybody in the company is going to understand.
It toes the line, or not toes the line, but abides by kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So that's number 4. Number 5, now the best part, you get to create the visual identity kit. Yes. Right? This is the fun stuff. And this is sadly usually where graphic designers are brought in.
Right.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So much money lost.
Yeah, big time.
Okay. Where if we're in the early stages, we get to bill for every single one of those points.
And we have those tools. We can do this kind of stuff.
Absolutely we are, right?
Yes.
But, okay, fine. In this process, number 5, that we start building the visual identity kit,
Right,
okay? And this
right.
is when we start creating the logo, right? We start creating the corporate identity, right? But then we start creating the palettes, the fonts, right? Keep it simple, keep it consistent, because this is a brand still, right?
Yeah.
But this is when you can start planning out, what are the other elements that you're going to need? And this is when you can start future planning. Okay? You're going to need long-term some ads. You're going to need some pay-per-click ads. You're going to need, website items, right?
Yep.
You're going to start having to start creating this, the visual identity. So it reflects that voice, that tone that you're creating, and you're going to use that in this kit.
Yep.
Right?
Big time.
Then, of course, you start building your brand guidelines.
Yep.
Again, graphic designers are right here, right? So
is
now
us.
put it all together, create a fucking playbook. Okay. Make sure it's straightforward. Make sure everybody understands it using your brand elements. No jargon. Okay. No buzzwords. Fuck. Okay. Just clear rules on how to implement the brand, the messaging, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So everybody in the company understands this.
Yes.
Okay. Number 7. Okay. The implementation plan now. Okay. So this is when we have to put our strategic hats on. Okay. So now it's like we built this brand. We've got this vision. We have a coffee shop and we are going to deliver the ultimate experience. So how are we going to implement
How are we
the
doing
ultimate
this?
experience, right?
Yeah.
If it's the ultimate friendly experience, everybody needs to be greeted, right? We need to have welcome signs. We need to have, hey, how are you doing on your coffee cups, right? We need people to ask for names, make it. This is how you start implementing the brand process, okay? So step-by-step rollout, putting it everywhere, putting it, not only in the experience that customers have, but then online, where the right places are to reach people, right? And I would recommend, in order of importance, right? Do the quick wins first.
Yeah.
The easy things that you can get out and get the most amount of traction and the least amount of effort. So websites, stationery, if they have vehicles, wrap them. If it's a storefront, get some easy signs.
Business cards.
Right? And then long-term plan. But the nice thing is here, you can build this rollout plan for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
right? It's up to you now. And then you can fill in all the elements. So when we talk about long-term strategy, dude, it's gold. This is how you do it.
Yep. Yeah, this is awesome.
And then last but not least, if you have the opportunity, once all this is in place, then you can train their team. Right. And this is where it's really cool. Really simple, effective training. You know, you got obviously hey, everything else is already created. They already know. But now it's up to you to make sure that, you know, they understand the messaging. They understand, you know, the mission, not the mission, the promise, right? And with that promise, they constantly have to adhere to the promise, right? And if ever in question, point to the fucking promise, right? And again, you know, it's their job to keep the brand consistent. Okay. And then again, no BS during this process. Don't get fancy over it, right? Just make sure they know what they need to know to deliver the brand promise and anything else that they're in charge of. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
This is a no bullshit, and this will work for all small to medium sized companies. I don't care what they say, how complicated it is, right? 8 things: brand audit checklist, identify the USP, create the brand promise, okay? Create the brand messaging, create the visual identity, the brand guidelines, okay? The implementation rollout plan, and train the people. That's it. Boom. And when we do this for companies, it transforms the company. And again, hasn't happened once. This happens time and time and time. And I get really excited over brand. Okay. Like every week, apparently, I'm really excited about every single thing we talk about. I really love this fucking space.
Yes.
But I mean, the truth is, it's just, there is nothing, you know, it's like raising a kid to become an Olympian.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's like, holy shit.
You brought this kid into the world and made it amazing.
Right.
Yes.
And that's exactly
a great analogy.
Right? So,
wow. Yeah.
It is. So, and it feels like when companies tell you, wow, you know what? Our numbers are already up this first quarter more than they were all of last year. Everybody has the same message. Everybody is pumped. Everybody's excited.
Yes.
Dude, it's just the most amazing experience when you can help bring a company, because again, companies can do well doing the same shit every day, selling a widget. But if you can have everybody realize why your widget is better than anybody else's,
that's
build
the ticket.
A brand, a culture around that. Everybody says why that widget is better than everybody else's, why they want it. All of a sudden, everything is it's just like, you know, all the noise parts.
Yes.
And you can you can see the future.
Yeah, exactly. And the future is a rocket.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gold.
Right.
So, you know, honestly, I feel that there's no reason for designers. We're constantly adapting. We've got to adjust for the future. We've got so many crazy things in the future that are happening. This, you know, implementing, embracing, you know, a brand strategy approach, embracing the opportunity to help companies with their brand strategy, get us more money. Okay. It'll make us all more, in fact, it'll get us more clients. Because now we're not just delivering one visual part of this. We're helping that company, you know, with their bigger issue. We're helping them find more customers. And then, so again, we're landing and expanding. Right? So if you're in there already, right? You know, don't be scared to approach the company that you're already working with and being like, hey, you know what? Like,
I noticed this. You're lacking in X.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
do you have a brand strategy in place? Do you know what your USP is? What makes you different? You know, ask those questions. Get those conversations started. You know, and honestly, it's just, you're just paving the road, you know, with gold bricks for yourself. Seriously, this is a yellow brick road, people.
Yes, of gold.
Right? Except that what is it? What was that green, you know, palace?
Emerald City.
Emerald City.
Yes.
Oh, that's actually that's worth a lot of money.
See, now my mind went to Elton John.
Wow, coming from the guy who loves heavy metal.
I know. Yeah, weird.
It's your dirty perversion. He secretly listens to Elton John at night. Puts on the Elton John glasses. Sean ties back his beard.
I got my crazy outfits on, the feather boas and stuff.
That guy has got a hell of a brand. Let me tell you.
He does, though, right?
And that's what, you know, and again, think about it, like some of the craziest musicians.
Yeah.
You know, like the Liberace's, the Elton Johns, right? Like the guys who've lasted forever. And again, they never grow old, even though they're like 80 years old.
Yeah, like Jesus.
But they never grow old.
No,
because it's their brand.
Yes, and their songs were good, and it's their brand.
Right? They stuck to it.
They stuck to it. Interesting. Wow, this is really good, man. Like, you're right. There's a lot of things that designers. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, man, when I was freelancing, I worked for this one place and it was like I left so much shit on the table. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd known this.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of like, I could have went there. I could have done this.
You know what? Our customers need us.
Big time.
Right? Not just our own customers, but there's so many other ones now. If you can offer these kind of services.
It's kind of one of those things where I think a customer would look at this and say, I'm glad I have Z-Factor here to help us with this stuff because I don't have to worry so much about it.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going to cover my bases and cover my ass over here.
It's true. It's true. And they do. And they come back and help us with their other stuff internally because of that. Rebranding products, you know, bringing their naming conventions together, right? Like rolling in products, even getting rid of products.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And
you're totally in the loop with most of this stuff. And it's very invaluable too.
That's where we want to be, right? Can you imagine? Like finally design is at the table.
Yes.
That's where we need to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody. I hope you understood the point I'm trying to tell you. Get into branding. Offer branding as part of your toolkit, as part of your services. I broke this down. I'll email it if anybody wants it. Hit us up on Instagram. I'll be glad to share this kind of information because, again, you know, I start thinking the bigger picture in our agency and what has worked for us in all these years. And, you know, delivering designs, okay, that was the deliverable. But being the brand strategy behind the companies that we deal with has done this company wonders.
Big time.
Absolutely. And it's something that we keep pushing over and over and over again.
It's nice to see some of the smaller companies that we've brought on.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden
take off.
Yeah, now it's like they're starting to ping you with more stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, this is good. This is, yes, we're doing it right.
Absolutely, right? Feels good.
Yes.
So hit us up on Instagram. Let us know what you think about the episode. You know, if you have any questions on branding, you know, hit us up on Instagram, you know, or, you know, hit us up on our website.
Yeah.
I think we're also there too. And of course, we're available on YouTube.
You say it with such. Of course,
we are on YouTube. I'm just scared if people see us, they may be like, "Ooh, I don't want to follow those guys."
Oh, they're ugly. Wow.
What are you talking about? We are handsome.
We are. Yes.
Yeah. Warning.
Faces only our kids could love.
That's why we're doing a podcast.
My mom always said I had a face for radio.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, everybody. My name's Massimo.
My name's Sean.
Stay creative.
Stay angry.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, no, this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
that's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth, put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get